Let a week not pass by that you do not have sex at least 3 times in a week. Now, I hear that there are married couples who stay weeks, months, or even years without having sex. Like, why in the world would you let that happen? Why did you even get married in the first place if you didn't have that attraction or that sexual compatibility in the first place? So the moment you stop having intimate sex with your spouse, that's the day the marriage starts to dwindle. That's the day the marriage starts to fail. Don't joke with this. Stop having or stop giving excuses when one partner needs it. How important is sex to a relationship? The truth is, it depends. It really does depend on who you are with. Sex might be more important to a relationship if there is not much else going for it. You might find you're more sexually compatible with your partner at the first instant. Sex might even be more important at the beginning of your relationship, but then again, as years or months go by, it just takes a back seat, especially if you've got kids or health issues to deal with. Plus, as you become older, you might find that sex becomes less important than it once was or not. Whatever the case might be, I need you to know that sex helps you bond. Whether you want to have sex because your emotional connection feels strong or you just want to have sex to boost that connection, physical intimacy can often go hand in hand with emotional intimacy. Now look, there's a reason why sex is seen as one of the many ways to show your partner that you love him or you love her, even though there are tons of different ways to show your love without having to have sex coming into the mix. Now, when you have sex with someone, unconsciously, it binds the two of you. Whether you planned on having a long-term relationship with a person or staying with them or not. And it's very, very important to have it in your marriage because it relieves stress, it lowers blood pressure, it helps you sleep better, it releases good hormones, feel-good hormones, such as oxytocin, and it also can be a source of exercise. There are just a few reasons why sex is important. Of course, you can get some of these benefits from, masturbation and even cuddling. But why not enjoy these benefits with your partner by having actual sex? Now, I hear that there are married couples who stay weeks, months, or even years without having sex. Like, why in the world would you let that happen? Why did you even get married in the first place if you didn't have that attraction or that sexual compatibility in the first place? So the moment you stop having intimate sex with your spouse, that's the day the marriage starts to dwindle. That's the day the marriage starts to fail. Don't joke with this. Stop having or stop giving excuses when one partner needs it and maybe you're not in the mood for it. Spread them legs and let them get it going. Just maybe along the line, you might find your mojo. Your body belongs to your partner. Your body belongs to your spouse. So if they want it, give it, except you're sick or dying. Or maybe you're fasting. And even the Bible tells you that before you even fast, you have to consult with your partner to take permission from them as to whether you could go on fasting. If they do not accept you fasting, then you can't fast because they want to have sex with you. I might not have quoted it the way it's being said in the Bible, but I know it's there in the Bible. However the case is, in that particular case, your partner should be able to understand that you're not feeling too well and be supportive. I get that there are times that we aren't in a mood for that, but let it not be frequent. Let a week not pass by that you do not have sex at least 3 times in a week. And men also realize that women want sex. Although the media often, portrays man as sex-starved and women as prudes, this isn't usually the case. Many women want more sex than they're getting. And of course, you might be a woman with, the highest sex drive in your relationship, but then again, cultural norms still dictate that men should initiate sex more often than women. And because of that shame of initiating sex, as a woman, you may not have as much sex as you want due to that cultural norm surrounding women and their sexuality. Now, the truth is this. The sooner we realize that men are far less skilled at picking up on sexual cues than women, the better we will as women at initiating sex when we want it, whether our men are ready or not. So it might be time for you to start initiating sex. And on the flip side of the coin, if you do happen to have, the lower sex drive in your relationship, then you might be the reason your man is having less sex than he would like. And of course, you know what that would result to? Cheating, okay? There is no hard or fast rule when it comes to that aspect. Men love sex. Men love to get it. However, all things said and done, I would like to say that regardless of how important sex is in a relationship, we should be careful not to place too much importance or too much emphasis on it. I need you to keep these thoughts in mind when determining what value to place on sex. Know that sex isn't everything. There are benefits to sex, yes, both to yourself and to your relationship, but relationships involve a lot of other things. You might share a home and finances. Who does which chore? Are the bills paid? How do you juggle your in-laws? What about the kids? Because kids only add more drama to the mix as they reduce your free time together, all right? Aging parents, having heavy workload and injuries or illness, all of these things come before sex. So if sex is important to you, these things can really set you back. So you have to prioritize and cut off the excesses that you can bear to live without, so as not to be overworked and stressed. And this will help you make time for sex. Plus, if one of you doesn't think sex is important, it might fall to the wayside. But this can also lead to issues in your relationship, and that's already assuming you don't have other issues that cause a low sex drive. Because there is a balance between prioritizing other things that must come before sex and getting to a point where you don't have any sex at all. That balance varies, of course, and there is no set amount of sex that you should be having. So if you can manage to have 2 at least in a week, then that's fair. But never go a week without strafing, and strafing real hard and real good. And I would also urge you to focus on quality over quantity. I believe that having really good sex less frequently is usually better than having mediocre sex a lot of time. So with that in mind, make sure that you both are getting what you need out of sex. Even if you don't both orgasm, take time to slow things down, at least every once in a while. Slow things down and have a great sex. Don't just fall into sexual routine that becomes really boring. Then stop treating sex as a goal, because that can be unhealthy. Of course, some people want to have a lot of sex because of their high sex drive, but we should also accept the fact that other people have sex because they think that they should, for them to feel any sort of human connection or affection, or even to keep up with the Joneses. And as you can guess it, these aren't particularly very good reasons to have sex, just to keep up with. So do it because it is fun for you, or do it for any of the benefits that you know sex gives to you. Have sex because your relationship is better when you do. But don't get so caught up in contemplating how important sex is to your relationship that you stop enjoying it. And also realize that it is not just about the frequency. It's obvious that not only is sex important in many ways, but it may not be enough for both you and your man to want to have sex at the same frequency, all right? So it's also important that you're sexually compatible regarding the type of sex that you want to have. Because the truth is, sexual incompatibility can mean a miserable relationship, a failed marriage, or even a cheating spouse. Sexual compatibility is a big deal in any relationship. All right, and this is not me saying that you have to sleep around in order for you to find out who is compatible with you. All right, because that would just mean you'll be having lots of body counts. That's why it's important to talk about sex deeply, even if you both are abstaining. You can be abstaining and still have great sexual compatibility when it finally happens. Just know what they like and don't like. In fact, having communication about sex before you decide to move to the next level in your relationship can save a lot of headache later on. It sets the stage for talking about sex in a very productive way, along with preventing resentment or guilt from building, and it also ensures that you're with the right person. So talk about sex. So for people who find sexual compatibility less important in their relationship, then incompatibility might not be a deal breaker, which leads us to the next point. You need more than sexual compatibility. Really though, you might have like an amazing sex, but you could be a terrible couple. Maybe you don't have same morals, or only one of you wants something of great importance, but the other is nonchalant about it, or you just don't want the same thing out of this relationship, but the sex is mind-blowing. You both seem sexually compatible, but darling, there comes a time in every relationship, in every woman's life, or in every man's life, that he or she has to let go of a man who gives her amazing orgasm, because he can never be the one, or she can never be the one. So don't stay stigmatized to the wrong man just because they're whipping it real good. If they don't match your energy outside of the bedroom, do not stay with them, because that's a recipe for divorce and heartaches. So yeah, sex is really important when you're with the right partner and when the feeling is mutual. It will be very hard for you to stay a day without making deep, intense love. So I think that sex is really important to have, and you shouldn't go a week without having sex. At least have sex 3 times in a week if you're so busy. Okay? All right, so this is where we ended. Until I come your way with another juicy episode, don't you forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a video. I'll be right back in your face. Bye.